What's going on, YouTube? Welcome to the Dynasty Buff Show. I'm your host, H. My partner, Max, is joining me today. Today, we're going to be going over Jayden Daniels and if he's, in fact, quarterback one in the 2024 NFL Draft. Happy Combine Week, everybody. Today's Friday. Tomorrow, Saturday, we get to watch all the skills position players. Well, with that being said, let's get started looking Jayden Daniels.
Going.
Showtime, folks.
Showtime. That's a pretty big claim that he's going to be the QB1 in the draft.
Yeah,
as opposed
so
to top tier.
A lot of big names right now are saying Jayden Daniels is moving up boards. He's quarterback 2 for a lot of people, including Mel Kiper, Matt Miller. I think Daniel Jeremiah as well also has Jayden Daniels at 2. Not sure about that 100%, but I know the other two guys, Matt Miller and Mel Kiper, have them at 2. So as always, we look at our overview, go over his bio, player stats, history, look at his mechanics, pocket awareness, pocket management, arm strength, out of structure plays, in structure plays, athleticism, weaknesses, and I give a size and pro comp, and we have a conclusion at the end. All right, Jayden Daniels, a four-star prospect coming out of high school. Originally went to Arizona State and then transferred to LSU, where he went in and this last year won the Heisman. So take a look at his college career. Freshman, he started as a true freshman at Arizona State University. Some big highlights: he beat number 6 ranked Oregon, led by Justin Herbert. Yes, Justin Herbert, the guy that plays for the Chargers, that Justin Herbert. That same year as a true freshman, he won the MVP award for the 2019 Sun Bowl. Sophomore season was a shortened season due to COVID. The only thing that was pretty much notable here was a Territorial Cup, which is the ASU plays Arizona. He ended up winning that game. His junior year, finished with an 8-5 record, struggled quite a bit. A 1 quarterback or touchdown to interception ratio, 10 TDs, 10 interceptions. After the season, Daniels transferred to LSU. Senior year, he played okay, not too great compared to his redshirt senior year, which was this past year's where he won the Heisman. All right, historic performance there. Had 40 TDs and 10 rushing touchdowns. Crazy. So how did he become such a big name, and why is he, projected to go top 3 in the NFL draft? So here's his rise to stardom, right? So beat out starter Dylan Sterling Cole, became the first starting true freshman quarterback for the Sun Devils. And then that game against Oregon was basically one of his biggest breakout games. It was the game that made him famous. He beat Justin Herbert in college. And Herbert was also first round pick on the Chargers. Great guy, right? Everybody knows Justin Herbert and how great he is in the NFL. So because of that performance, Daniels won the Offensive Player of the Week as a freshman around the Pac-12. And then Daniels also led the Sun Devils to a 2014 victory over Florida State University in the Sun Bowl. Won the MVP there. And then the Heisman. 2023 won the Heisman Trophy. Had 3,812 passing yards with 4 TDs. Rushed for 1,134 yards, and then had 10 TDs, 10 rushing TDs. So here's what PFF thinks about him. All right, as always, we like to look at the stats, analytics, as well as the film. So right here, right off the bat, we see, he's number 1 in points per earned. Had the best quarterback rating this past year. One of the best rushers, right? Probably the best rushing quarterback in this draft class. He was great under no pressure, great in passing. Kept the ball very clean, doesn't have a lot of turnover worthy plays. He has really high big time throws as well. On target percentage is pretty good as well. The only issue I see that stands out here to me is pressure to sack ratio. So a lot of people don't know this, but Pressure to sack ratio is one of the best data points that we can use as it translates and those guys go on to the NFL. So it's a very sticky measurement. So if you're good in college against pass protection and against pressure to sack ratio, usually we'd be very good in the NFL. So for example, like Patrick Mahomes was very high in, or I say low in pressure to sack ratio, which is good, which you need. And that's also translated to him in the NFL. And last year, part of the reason why I like Anthony Richardson last year is because his pocket presence and that pressure to sack ratio for Rich was very low. And that's even basically standing true, even though it was a small sample with him, but he looked good.
Yeah, it kind of shows whether or not they can get rid of the ball, if they're decisive enough to get rid of the ball rather than just take the sack.
Yeah.
Now, he's a big-time player because he's always trying to, look at the big-time throw percentages, top 10, obviously. So he may be trying to make things happen and stretch it out and then taking the sack because of that. But that could be bad in the NFL, like you're saying.
Yeah, and here on the right side, right, so obviously we know he started at 2019 and he finished 2023. But the one thing that stands out to me is this last year. Is it an outlier year? I mean, from 79 to 92 just on PFF, it's a pretty big jump. And, the good thing here is, right, you see the growth. But for me, I'm not sure if at 92 is an outlier year, or maybe, and if he goes to the pros, he might regress just a little bit. I'm not sure if he can go any higher than that. I don't know. Just something to look at. All right, as we get into our next slide here, it's just what ESPN says on his stats, right? He was number 1 in QBR, had the highest quarterback rating this past year. Makes sense. Heisman Trophy winner guy. Okay, let's take a look at some more of the advanced stats here and the quarterback prospects career predictions while under pressure. So how does Jayden Daniels perform under pressure? Well, if we take a look here on our screen, Jayden Daniels is down here with Sam Howell, Justin Fields. So he's got a very high average time to throw, and his sack ratio is pretty high. So you could say he holds on to the ball too long and then takes a sack. That's just what the data says, right? So when it comes to the film, right, what we want to watch is he taking a lot of sacks because he's holding on the ball because he wants to make a play, or is he holding on the ball too long because he doesn't know what to do? We'll get to that, right? We'll get to some of those things. We'll take a look here at the film, and we're going to start seeing some of the analytics show up in the film.
Yeah, and just one thing I'll point out on that too, if you look down there, the average time to throw, you're talking half a second difference.
Yeah. All right, so here's the college career sack avoidance versus the blitz. Again, like I just mentioned earlier, Anthony Richardson is at the top. The dude avoids the blitz. Great in the pocket, great pocket management. And then let's take a look here where Jayden Daniels is. He falls on the lower end here at 24%. He's down there with notables like Justin Fields, Zach Wilson. I guess that's basically it. That's Sam Howell as well, right? He's also starting quarterback. What we notice here, if we look towards more of the top, right, we see guys that have been pretty good in the NFL, right? We got Brock Purdy up there. Say what you will about Mac Jones. His rookie year, he did pretty solid and was very good. He was in the Pro Bowl. I think Mac Jones is actually not a bad quarterback. I think he's okay. It's just the situation kind of sucks. Take a look. CJ Stroud's up there, right? Bryce Young is there. Trevor Lawrence is there. Those guys we know that have been all good in the NFL. So let's take a look at the drop back volume and sack avoidance. So how many times are they dropping back a game, and what are they doing with the pressure sack ratio? So dropbacks a game. We like to see guys that drop back a lot. For quarterbacks, we want to see them throw the ball. But take a look in here for all the dropbacks we're doing. He's at 23% right here. He's also down here with Sam Howell. in the air with Ritter and Zach Wilson. Again, we're going to take a look at the film and see what's actually going on with the pressure sack ratio. What is actually happening when he's going through that? Is he extending the play and just doing whatever it takes to get the ball going down the field? For example, like Joe Burrow is known for that, right? He always likes to extend the play on third downs and always tries to make something happen, even if it means taking a sack. Or is he going to be like Sam Howell, where he's a little bit slower on things and he just takes a bunch of sacks because he can't get the timing right, can't get the decision making down. Well, we'll get to that, right? Some more stats to look at here and more things to consider. We'll see the film here, but just look at the numbers. Scramble rate on non-pressure dropbacks. So pocket's clean, they can make a throw. What do they end up doing? Well, it looks like they scramble, right? So Jayden Daniels has a very high scramble rate on non-pressure dropbacks. Another guy that has that issue is Justin Fields. So I'd be curious to see if I could find, Sam Howell in the chart as well, or Justin Fields, because it seems like they're kind of in that same area, right? So here you look at Sam Howell there again, EPA per pass on our chart. All right, he's up there, and then the pressure sack rate's also right there. They fall in that same umbrella. And then versus, you take a look at Caleb Williams here on our scramble rate. He's trying to make a play at all times. He's going to step up. He's going to manipulate the pocket, and he'll try to make that throw. That's what the data says. Again, we'll check out the film, see what happens. So before we get into all the weaknesses, we got to talk about the guy's strengths, right? So why is the NFL so enamored with him? Why does everybody like him? Oh, yeah. Why does Kurt Benkert, the former Packers quarterback guy that's, does all the stuff now too, social media stuff, why is he like quarterback one for him? Why is, Daniels quarterback one for a lot of people now? All right. Big arm, big guy. He's fast, athletic, and he's got decent, good mechanics. Oh, he's got tons of experience, right? GMs, coaches love guys with experience. They love guys with getting reps because they can just start them, and they know, like, okay, if they played quarterback for, 50 starts, 40 starts, they've had 40-star career starts in college. Like, that's awesome. And then not even to mention them in high school and all the other camps and stuff they do. So let's take a look at some of the things that I like, right? So throwing mechanics and pocket management. This is what I look for. If you look at our other videos, you'll see this. I do the same thing. No heel clicking, pressure on the front foot, rotation lower body using adductors. Ball comes out smoothly. The feet are planted, sets and resets smoothly and timely, ready to throw at all times, right? So you need to be, your body needs to be in sync with your mind. You got to go, I got to get this ball out, and my bodies need to be ready for it. If your body's ready, your mind's going to be, all right, I see it, now let's go. See it now, versus I'm going to see it, then I'm going to readjust, and then throw. You need to be ready.
Would you say when it says ball comes out smoothly, would you say he has a consistent throwing motion all the time, or does he sometimes change it and that impacts his accuracy and stuff?
So what I mean comes out smoothly, right? If you look at Tom Brady's throwing mechanics, or Justin Herbert's, or even Kyler Murray's throwing mechanics, even Patrick Mahomes, right? It's consistently the same thing every time. It's like full extension, full rotation, full top release, smooth. You can also obviously change it with the certain distances, but the form is supposed to be very consistent across the board. I mean, those guys, we know that they all have great throwing mechanics. You can just be like that. If you be like Patrick Mahomes or Tom Brady throwing football, I don't know how you want to do that. Maybe, there's always that guy who goes, oh, I have an unorthodox throw. I can throw 80 yards. And,
oh, yeah.
Okay, that's great. That's awesome. But more than likely, that's not always the case. That's not the standard that you should be going with. Let's take a look at the throwing mechanics. on film. So here we got Daniels here going against the Gators. Here he's in the shotgun. Just checking out his feet. Nice, smooth, good release here over the top. Go get in closer angle here. There it is. There's no heel clicking on that. None of that. Here's another one. He's scanning each time. His feet around. We're good there. No heel clicking again. He does get rotation. But for me, I think I like to call this like happy feet. In our second clip here, I think he bounces it around too much versus just setting, resetting, setting, resetting, and he's ready to throw at all times. For me, I still think he's scanning with his mind and his body's not ready yet. So that's what I see. And then on some of the other throwing mechanics, even if we look at the other films, we see him, I sometimes think he short arms it. I think he has the capability of throwing it a little further out and cleaner. I think he kind of like shorts it. Kind of like like free throws that they do and stuff like this versus all the way up to the top. That's just something I noticed. I mean, sure, the dude can chuck the ball like 60, 70 yards effortlessly, but that's just something I noticed.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about when he says the ball comes out smoothly. I was thinking, yes, it does come out smoothly when he throws it, but sometimes that motion of his arm, sometimes it just, I don't know. Sometimes it seems a little bit odd. I know he has to do it sometimes with a small pocket, but sometimes he doesn't have it and he still does it.
Yeah. So we'll take a look here at the arm strength as well. Rocket arm, I think he makes some really bullet type throws, like just super fast. At times, I think he also got some soft touch, throw 40 plus yards on the run. Does he have the biggest arm in the draft? So in terms of yardage, I think he actually does. But in terms of on the run and then also in structure in the pocket, I don't think he actually does. I think it's actually Caleb that actually has the bigger arm overall. But even though Daniels can probably throw the ball further than Caleb. Let's take a look here what I'm talking about. So here Daniels is playing in Alabama. This is a really crazy throw too. I mean, he's at 45 on the other side. He just chucks all the way up to Neighbors. Easy throw. Look how easy that is for him. Effortless. Crazy. Look at that. Here's another one. He's going against Florida State University. Looking for another deep pass on the outside the numbers. And here's one thing I want to highlight as well. Whoops. So if we look here at the one against Florida State and where he's throwing to Brian Thomas Jr., one of the things I also noticed is I think he has some ball placement issues. And although he can throw the ball super far, I think he needs to work on where he's placing the ball and giving his guys an opportunity to come down with the ball. So here, I know Daniels can throw that ball even further down the line, right? Even maybe to the 10. But I'm not sure why he does it here, but he could throw it to the 10-yard line right there and give Brian Thomas Jr. catching him in stride versus trying to have Brian Thomas Jr. come on the comeback and come get the ball again. So that's just another thing I noticed. I don't think ball placement and arm strength go together, but if you have all the arm strength, it can also make ball placement also a lot easier for you. So I think you just got to work on that. Out of structure and off-platform throws. So again, obviously, we like to look at guys that can extend the play and be special even outside the pocket and how they operate on the fly and making things happen when the play starts to break down. So throws on the run, but I don't think at an elite level. It's supposed to be an and. I think he's a freak athlete. He's got insane wheels with home run speed, good ability to create, more likely to tuck and run and extend the plays from what I've seen. So If you look at like Caleb and Drake May, those guys aren't going to scramble and immediately, not going to tuck and run. They're actually going to try to manipulate the pocket, move around, and then find the guy and then throw the ball. I think it was kind of rare to find Daniels going around, moving around, and still looking his eyes downfield and then making throw to the receiver. But he does do it. I'm not saying he doesn't do it at all. He does, but not to the extent as some of the other guys do it. We got Neighbors moving out there. So here he is. Now he's extending the play out. His eyes are downfield, and he throws it right in the middle of the area to Neighbors. Here's a better, closer look at it. All right, he's scanning, looking around, and then boom, throws it right there. So again, he can play out of structure, and he does. He does do it. But I feel like I'm not sure that he does it because I think, again, the issue might be a ball placement thing. Even there, he kind of lays the ball behind Neighbors versus in front of him. So ball placement, a little bit of accuracy. But I think he can see where the ball needs to go and what he needs to do, but he just doesn't do it here. So don't think he's elite on out of structure plays and accuracy. I think he's good. Okay, well, how does he do in structure? Well, I personally think he's okay, but not great. Like, I think he's good. So he doesn't go through all his reads. Sometimes he does. Well, it's not, two-play read. I feel like personally he was force-feeding Neighbors this year, and I think he has above average in structure skills as well as reading and processing, but he does need some development. So let's take a look here again. Daniels, he's playing against Gators here. So if we look here, let's get a better close up here. He's scanning 1, 2, 3, boom, right there. Throws it to Neighbors again, but he is looking. He's scanning the right side of the field, middle of the field, left side of the field, makes the throw. So let's take a look here with Daniels going against Florida State. Here we go again, and for me, immediately we see Brian Thomas Jr. coming on the slant. He's got to make that throw. Brian Thomas Jr. is also looking at him like, dude, how come you didn't throw the ball to me? Should have threw the ball to him. But it's okay. And obviously we saw the other one before. Of him missing the read to Neighbors on the other one, right? So he does miss some reads, in my opinion. Some guys say that he doesn't at all, but I think he does. Even his receivers are saying, hey, I'm open, throw to me, dude. And he just doesn't do it. As we get to our comp later, there's just some other guy that I can think of that does this stuff, same stuff, right? I can see why some people really like him. And we'll get there. So here is an example of why everybody is so high on Jayden Daniels. The athleticism. In fantasy, right, we know that dudes that run and rush, especially a guy that rushes for 1,000 yards in college and gets 10 rushing TDs, is going to be coveted by a lot of the community because those fantasy points, right? He's getting 10 fantasy points on a 40, 50-yard run and just been a touchdown.
Well, NFL likes that too. I mean, if he gets, if he extends the play with a 40-yard run, that's a great play.
Yeah, or like he breaks it for 60 and gets a touchdown.
Even better.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, the big question would be the longevity of that kind of play.
Yeah, and so here we go. Right, athleticism, great straight line speed, creative inside and outside the pocket. Fast for a quarterback at his size, but I don't think he's anything Richardson, RG3, or Cam Newton fast.
How about Lamar?
Yeah, so I think he's kind of more like Lamar. I think we talked about this when we talked about May. I think Daniels, this should actually be 4.4, 4.5 speed, 4.45 speed. That should be changed, actually. I think I kind of messed up from when I did Mays, but that's supposed to be 4.45 speed. But I think Daniels is actually quick as well. Kind of like Lamar Jackson. He's quick, but I don't think he's straight line speed fast like Newton, RG3, or Anthony Richardson, right? Those guys were just super, super fast at their sizes too, right? Daniels is more slim, but I think he's more quick and nimble, kind of like Lamar. Or even like this other guy I'm thinking of who plays for the Chicago Bears right now.
Yeah.
He's on our next slide, right? So let's take a look at a quarterback career explosive play rate. So the guys that make explosive plays. Look who are at the top. Justin Fields, Jayden Daniels. Obviously Drake May's there as well. Some other guys, Anthony Richardson, Sam Howell's in that mix as well. So again, right, you can see kind of the analytics and the stats of kind of where you're thinking where Daniels might be, that mold where he's actually kind of like. So explosive play rate is how many times are they doing that 20-yard throw or doing that 10-yard rush. Jayden Daniels had a ton of big-time throws as well as big-time rushes. So let's take a look at those big-time rushes. All right, here we go. He's playing against Alabama here. Look at this. He's all the way out here on the 20, on his own 20. Just looking to book it. Goes on the other side, man. Picks up like 60-some yards. Look at that. He breaks this guy's ankles. The agility right there, moving around and gets the collar, the horse collar claw right there as well. Take a look here. Florida State. So it's a quarterback draw. Look at the speed again. Hurdles the man, jukes the dude out. Gets tackled there again. But look at those cuts, right? Great cuts. Great movement. Great agility. Let's take a look here. The Gators one. Grabs it. Runs. Look at him juke that guy.
Yeah, it almost looks like Lamar.
Cheat code. The cheat code, that's so many fantasy points right there. It's like 10. 10 fantasy points on that play. It'll take forever if you're just a throwing quarterback. I get it why the fantasy community likes Jayden Daniels because, yes, the upside's insane. But, right, as always, there are weaknesses. So his strengths are like the athleticism. The dude runs like a very nimble running back. It's crazy. Weaknesses are, for me, accuracy issues and ball placement. Inconsistency, can make throws, just not routinely. I said he needs to work on processing and decision making. He really needs to work on those. He's slim and he takes some really big hits. I think he finds himself in a lot of situations where he can protect himself and the ball. But he just kind of doesn't. So let's take a look here at some of the weaknesses here. So here, ball placement and processing decision making. Neighbors is open. Neighbors is saying, dude, throw to me. Throw to me, I'm open. On this cut here on Neighbors, that's NFL open. You got to make that throw, dude. And here again, he just tucks and runs.
Yeah, he even put his hands up.
Yep. And here's the other one, Florida State. Even Brian Thomas Jr. saying, dude, throw to me, I'm open. And he just gets blindsided and sacked. You got to make that throw on that slant immediately. Here again, he's throwing it outside. I'm like, hey, be careful throwing that, dude. That's probably pick 6 in the NFL. Here again, if he looked and scanned on the bottom here, he would see that Brian Thomas Jr. is open on the 9, but he doesn't. He looks only to Neighbors, throws to Neighbors. The DB's reading him the entire time. He's like, oh, he's throwing at me. He's throwing at me. He doesn't even look at the other side. Okay, I got it. Boom, pick. Stuff like that needs to be fixed and cleaned up in the NFL. Dude, go through your reads. I get it. Neighbors is a superstar. I get coach is probably yelling at you saying, force feed, throw to him. But hey, man, you also got to do your homework to do the pre-snap, go, hey, I got one-on-one right now with Brian Thomas Jr., who's huge and fast. He's got steps. He's got 2 to 3 steps on him. I'm going to give him a shot. Do it. Throw it. All right, so here's more, right? Here, over the middle. He's open. Over the middle, he's open. But what does he do? Tucks and runs, dives in, takes a huge hit, or puts himself in danger, and can get really hurt doing this stuff. So here we go, right? So those are the things that I've seen. So what about size and the archetypes? Well, he's pretty much a traditional prototypical type quarterback. Everybody says 6'4". I think he's like 6'3.5". We'll get the measurements tomorrow, and we'll get all the information on that. But he's 6'3". He looks like he's a pretty tall guy. He's a little bit on the slender side, but I still think he's probably like 210 to 220, somewhere in that range. So he's got the archetype of Justin Fields, Lamar Jackson, right? You said that. Jalen Hurts, like being kind of dynamic and shifty. And then for me, I also said Colin Kaepernick. Why do I say that? Well, if you look at the days with the Harbaugh, Colin Kaepernick was a pretty good quarterback for 2 to 3 years in the system, right? He only had to make a couple reads, but he was an athlete. He was also a guy that was shifty, nimble, moving around, and he could break a lot of tackles as well to jump over guys. So he's an archetype, in my opinion. So my playstyle comp for him is Justin Fields, right? That's my own personal one. He fits in the mold of Lamar Jackson, Daniel Jones, Colin Kaepernick, all those guys. But for me, I think he's Justin Fields. The data says he's Justin Fields. For me, I think the film also says he's Justin Fields. The dude is a freak athlete. The dude has a big arm, right? The dude has good, decent mechanics. I mean, he has big-time throws, but also big-time interceptions. Justin Fields is the dual threat guy himself, right? The Konami code quarterback. Justin Fields has top 10 upside in terms of himself and in fantasy and in real life. But the biggest issue with Justin Fields, and we saw it this past year, and I guess his entire career so far, is he struggles to read defenses. Right? So let's take a look here at Justin Fields' film. We saw this, you saw it yesterday. I'm just going to touch on the film. So everybody knows the video with Justin Fields and him playing against the Buccaneers. All right, here, right? Justin Fields has the opportunity to throw to the running back here, but he misses that read. He's got all kinds of opportunities. He's got more up here, and then what does he do? He tucks and runs, takes a sack. Here again, what does Justin Fields do? He has DJ Moore open right there on the slant, and even Moore is like, dude, I'm open, and he takes a sack. And right here, guy open right here. What does he do? He literally just sits back. He can step up, right? He can step up in the pocket right here. He's got 13 right here. He's got 23. He can do all kinds of stuff here, but he just doesn't do it. So I see the same issues in Jayden Daniels as I saw in Justin Fields. I'm not saying that Jayden Daniels is going to be Justin Fields, but I mean, right now, that's what I see.
So let me ask you this, H. So in comparison to Anthony Richardson, where his feet work and his footwork and his mechanic were absolutely horrible, but it seemed like he could process and read the play. How do you compare that to Daniels?
So Anthony Richardson, yeah, his mechanics were trash. His accuracy was kind of garbage. But if you watch him, he goes, he's open. So he goes, and he just misses the throw. So Rich has it up here. Down here, his body's like, I can't do that. So Daniels again, like I said, you got to have both. Your brain and your body got to be working in sync. A-Rich's brain's faster than his body. Daniels, I think his body's not even ready. And I mean, his mind's not ready, and then his body's not ready either.
So how do you think Richardson did when he went to Indy before he got hurt? Was he able to put those two together more?
Yeah, I was shocked. He improved significantly. He looked good. I mean, obviously, again, we said that one of the issues is injuries and taking those hits.
So
it's not good.
The reason I bring that up is because that third bullet where you say, can he learn to process faster? You know, that's one that you always wondered about. You know, you think back to Ryan Leaf or some of the guys that have all the talent in the world, Jamarcus Russell, the guys that were, you know, big time candidates coming out for the draft, and then they just can't click fast enough in the NFL. Do you think he can learn to process faster, or is it just not a full understanding of the different defensive concepts and everything?
I think he can, just like I thought Fields could, like, you know, a year or 2 years ago. But he's got to go to the right situation, right? So
okay,
I say on here, does he land in the right situation? So let's just take a look at things I worry about.
Who was the guy from the Jaguars, the coach that got fired right away with Trevor Lawrence?
Urban Meyer.
Urban Meyer.
Yeah, so we'll talk about that, right? So making consistent reads, can he do that? Decision making. He's got to hit the open guys, man. He's got to understand the anticipation and hit those guys. Can he learn to process faster and improve his accuracy? I don't know. Can he improve his pocket management? He's got the highest pressure to sack ratio since like Zach Wilson and like Justin Fields and Sam Howell. Does he put on weight? I think he will put on weight. I mean, guys usually don't ever look this slim when they get older, right?
He's 23.
Yeah, so I think he'll be fine. Injuries, dude, taking big hits. You gotta protect yourself and you gotta protect the ball, dude. You don't have to just be Superman each time. You can't do that in the NFL. Those guys are bigger and faster than you. You're gonna get destroyed. Does he land in the right situation? He needs to go to a good situation where a coach can help him develop. Do I think that's going to be in Washington? Or I should say, does he think it's going to be in Chicago, Washington, New England? Is it going to happen in Atlanta? For me, I think the best situation for Jayden Daniels is actually the New York Giants. Why do I say that? Brian Daboll helped and worked with Josh Allen to make him be the guy that we know him to be. The Giants have the 6th pick in the draft. They could trade up and get Daniels. I think that'd be the best position for Jayden Daniels to learn from Brian Daboll and to actually help him with those processing. I think it would be really good for him.
So you would give up on Danny Dimes?
Who? Yeah, no, I would. I mean, he's had 2 neck injuries, the ACL, and I mean, he hasn't been very good in my opinion. Okay, so let's get our concluding remarks. Obviously, dual threat. I think he's a better rusher than passer. Top 15 upside, elite speed, big arm, prototypical height. He's got good accuracy. Age is a little bit of concern. I think he should go top 5 in the NFL draft. He has the tools to be good at the next level, but he will need to work on his decision making. So that being said, is Jayden Daniels your quarterback 1? Let us know in the comments who your QB1 is. Let us know how we do it on these videos here. Did you like the film? Did you enjoy the analytics and stuff? If you haven't already, subscribe to our channel, like our videos, share it with your friends. Follow us on Twitter at me, Dynasty Bus, and Max at FF Bus. Join our Discord. I will put a comment down below of my recent rankings that I did. I have basically all the skills position players and where I have them going for the NFL draft with draft capital projections down below. So have a good weekend. Watch the combine. We're going to be watching the combine. Saturday is quarterbacks, wide receivers, and running backs. Today is the tight ends. Keep an eye out for those guys. We got more videos coming. If you haven't checked out our Caleb Williams and Drake May videos, I'll put them up here. Make sure to give those a watch. And that being said, I appreciate y'all tuning in. Catch you next one. Bye.
See ya.